Kim Kardashian didn't just show up for a chat. She walked into a microphone and quietly detonated 3 headlines at once. One interview, 3 pressure points. The Justin Bieber photo shoot everyone cringes at now, the Travis Barker memoir lines that never die, and the cold reality of co-parenting with Ye when the calls stop coming. The timing wasn't random, the platform wasn't random, and the tone definitely wasn't random. On Call Her Daddy this week, she kept her voice low and her edges soft. And the internet still erupted because the subtext was louder than anything she said out loud. E-L-L-E. Why this week? Because when people start zoning out of Kardashian drama, you don't tweet. You curate a sit-down that feels confessional without becoming a courtroom. The Call Her Daddy format is perfect for it. Conversational, intimate, deceptively casual. You can stroll in, drop a handful of quotes that read like "open windows," and let the audience decide how far to peek through. Kim knows that game. She's been playing it longer than most of us have had the same phone number. But the first spark she struck wasn't about Ye or Courtney or a feud that could be mapped with yarn on a corkboard. It was 2010. A beach, a camera, a wildly glossy fantasy where a teen idol and a reality star posed like they'd been written into a remix of The Graduate. Back then, the vibe was cheeky and viral. Now it's the kind of thing that makes you squint and ask, who greenlit this? Kim, to her credit, said it out loud. The concept was odd and by today's standards not the most appropriate. She stressed there was nothing shady happening. Family and team were present. But she didn't hide from the way the images read in 2025. That single admission did 2 things at once. It put her on the side of common sense, and it reopened a folder the internet never really closes. People.com +1. Context matters. The early 2000s were a different internet. Edgy sold magazines, provocations were packaged in soft focus. The goal was to trend before trending was even a word. Fans remember the chaos around that moment. The tweets, the jokes, the Bieber fever flash flood. But standards evolve and retrospectives hit harder when the person in the photo says, "Yeah, that didn't age well." It's not a legal defense, it's a cultural one. And it worked because it sounded like a grown-up looking back at a costume she wouldn't wear today. Then came a different name, not said for the first time, but heard in a new key. Travis Barker. Years ago, he wrote about having a crush on Kim, about friendly hangouts that fans still screenshot like they're examining a crime scene, about ad campaigns and pool days and fireworks. In 2023, he told the LA Times, yes, he thought she was hot back in the day, and no, nothing happened. The words are both more and less than people want. They're a memory with guardrails. And in this interview, Kim did what she always does when a rumor could bleed into family life. She deflated it without throwing a spark onto the dinner table. Her tone was cool, almost careful. You could feel the calculus. Don't hand anybody a fresh reason to turn a crush from a memoir into a cliffhanger in the group chat. Vanity Fair. That's the thing about Kim. She's a strategist, not a talker. When she says less, she's not being empty. She's being exact. Deny what you can deny, concede what you can concede, and do not give the audience a sentence that can be clipped into something nuclear. Was there energy? That's the word people keep using. The memoir lines sound like sunlight on the surface of a pool. Her denial is the lane rope that keeps everyone from splashing into Courtney's living room. Keep it tidy, keep it civil, keep it out of the family calendar. And then she slid from the past into the present. The room cooled. Her voice did too. Co-parenting with Ye is not easy, she said. And lately the kids hadn't heard from him in months. No bitterness, just a line drawn in pencil. They live with her full-time. Routine matters. She protects their schedule. Whenever he asks, she facilitates. It was the most delicate portion of the interview because she didn't swing. She didn't accuse. She didn't dump timelines on the table. She didn't litigate Europe or ultimatums or who texted whom last Tuesday. She stayed inside the sentence, "I show up." They have structure. We handle it. And that restraint, the air she leaves around word spine, can actually be louder than a rant. EW.com. What makes this sit-down different from older Kim clips is the control. Remember eras where one sentence spun out into a week of damage control? This wasn't that. This was calibrated disclosure. She gave the audience a tangible admission about Bieber. She offered a careful denial about Travis. She placed the co-parenting update in the simplest language possible. Honesty and image management aren't opposites in her world. They're two pedals pressed with the same foot. Say enough to sound human, never so much that you open a door you can't close. And of course, the internet being the internet, everyone projected the version of Kim they're already primed to see. Some said it was the most real she's felt in years. The kind of sober hindsight that only shows up after a decade of trial by public opinion. Others said it was her most practiced performance, that even the pauses felt rehearsed, that the empathy was wrapped in plastic. Both can be true. That's the paradox of a person who has to make eye contact with cameras to make a living. Mastery looks like distance if you don't want to be mastered. The smartest trick of the episode was the triple drop. She put 3 stories in play that activate 3 different corners of the audience. Nostalgia and ethics around the Bieber shoot. Intra-family friction via Travis lore. Real-time parenting realities with Ye. Any one of those could have anchored a headline cycle. Pack them together and you multiply the discourse. Comment sections don't just light up, they argue with each other. One thread is debating power dynamics in 2010. Another is screenshotting memoir pages and reading tone like tea leaves. And a third is begging the world to stop using kids to keep score between adults. That's reach, that's oxygen. Zoom out, and you can see the new outline of Kim's 2025 persona. Less chaos, more curation. Not the wide-eyed ingenue or the tabloid lightning rod, but a steadier executive version who knows exactly when to drop one unglamorous truth in between 2 elegant evasions. It's not cold so much as it is insulated. The precision is protective, the distance is learned, and yes, people are still speculating about what comes next, because silence in that universe is never permanent. Does Kourtney address the memoir lines again? Does Paris say anything that rearranges the old timeline? Does Ye jump back into the feed with a surprise post from somewhere in Europe that turns speculation into a stampede? Maybe. Maybe not. The family's greatest magic trick has always been transforming guesses into programming. So, did Kim finally come clean, or did she steer us with a gentle hand on the wheel? The answer is both. She acknowledged the photo spread that doesn't sit right anymore. She neutralized a rumor without pouring gasoline on her sister's front lawn. She framed co-parenting in the language of routine and care, instead of conflict and scorekeeping. It's the kind of balance you only learn after your name has been a headline for half your life. Here's what sticks once the comments scroll by. She didn't raise her voice to land any of it. No outrage, no gloating, no heat. Just a series of sentences that were crafted to travel. In an attention economy, that's power. Honesty becomes an instrument. Silence becomes punctuation. And the person who can play both ends of that scale is still the main character whether you want her to be or not. You've heard my rid, now I want yours. Was this Kim being transparent? Kim being tactical? Or exactly the hybrid she's trained herself to be? Tell me which moment shifted your view the most. The 2010 admission, the Travis deflation, or the matter-of-fact update on Yeah? And why? And if you're ready for more unfiltered pop culture deep dives, the next story on my desk is even messier, and it's going to make this week's discourse look like a warm-up. Hit the button so you don't miss it.